The Garden Report is powered by Prize Picks, the exclusive daily fantasy partner of the CLNS Media Network.
Hey, Bobby Manning here. Celtics, Maine Celtics fall in the G League Championship game, Game 3, 117-100. Noah Dalzell here from Celtics blog. Brutal one. Tight game for a quarter and a half. Jordan Walsh injured his ankle early. Neemias Queta sick coming in. Bladen Muller, the head coach, just said they waited until the last minute to hear whether he was going to be available, and you saw it. Just 7-8 minutes in that first half. Ran out of gas late as the Thunder went on a 26-0 run to go the lead that grew as large as 30 in this one. Celtics cut into it a little bit in the second half, but they didn't have enough tonight in terms of personnel, in terms of shooting, in terms of legs. According to anxiety a little bit to win this. And Oklahoma City wins the G League Championship after the Celtics had a 1-0 lead in this series.
Yeah, this kind of reminded me a little bit, not to bring up bad memories, of Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, where there's so much adrenaline in this building.
Yeah,
there
was so much ankle injury.
Yeah, there was so much excitement, and then early on, one of your best players goes down, and then you kind of get down by pretty significant amounts, and yeah, they just weren't able to come back. I mean, that was a 30-point deficit that just happened like that. And everybody said it post game. This was a really special group. This was a really special season. They turned around from a 500 team to one of the last teams standing. But yeah, ultimately took. It was a game of runs, and I thought what was kind of ironic is that they lost on a 4-minute spurt where the other team got so hot, and that's exactly how they got to this point. They've been that other team. DJ Stewart has had personal 12-0 runs, 15-0 runs, spurts that have gotten them to this point, and so they were kind of on the other end of that, and that's just kind of, I guess, how basketball works.
Walsh grew a ton this year. I think you saw it from early on, trying to do everything, and then growing into a role that's going to fit him in Boston. Queta doesn't play a ton down here this year, but ends up being a standard contract player. And we'll see what happens with J.D. Davison. I still feel like he'll get an opportunity elsewhere, maybe as soon as this summer. And Drew Peterson said he's trying to follow that Sam Hauser track. So overall, just for those guys who are in the mix with Boston, what do you feel like they got out of this year?
Yeah, I mean, those 4 guys are in a slightly different position, right? Because they're going to do the playoff run. Queta obviously got one of his big goals for the season, which was a standard contract. Walsh is in a unique position as well. I believe in both Davison and Peterson as potential NBA players. I think they have certain things that are super strong and other things that they need to work on, but both of them made tremendous progress throughout this year. And really what it comes down to, in a lot of senses, is these other guys, right? This is a team that's never going to be together again. I know that's not what the average kind of Celtics fan is, mostly thinking about, but I think this group, there's, veterans on this team like Tony Snell that have had a really big impact. They're all going to go their separate ways. But I think those 4 guys, the 2 two-ways and the 2 standard guys, I wouldn't be surprised if this is not the last we see of those 2 ways in Boston. And obviously Jordan and Queta we're going to see a whole lot more of.
Celtics could fill a 2-way contract too with one of these guys potentially, or one of the many players they saw in the G League this year. That'll be the interesting fallout to this. Before those guys we mentioned, playoff run starts. Queta's eligible. First practice tomorrow morning. We'll have coverage there from the Auerbach Center. But for now, from Portland, Maine, the Oklahoma City Blue win the G League Championship. I'm Bobby Manning. She is Noah Dalzell. Check her out on Celtics blog for more coverage of this one, and CLNS Media for all the post-game reaction to this one.
Testing my skills on Prize Picks this season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps. Use the code CLNS for the first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Hey, Bobby Manning here. If you made it this far, you probably enjoyed this video, so subscribe, turn on notifications, and check out our social media platforms at Celtics CLNS